Welcome back.
Welcome back. Basic
Welcome back.
Fanta for witches.
We did
Whoop,
it.
whoop, whoop,
Another
whoop,
week.
whoop. I love how we
We're
always say that.
here.
We did it. It's like we just decided to record more. We
Yeah,
decided
but
to release more content.
well, that's it. But people can get behind on podcast episodes, and
Yes.
I would say congratulating us while we start this to do this every single week is a big deal because our lives are
Mhm.
crazy
Are
and we do
crazy.
our very best. And
Hmm.
sometimes it does
Hmm.
not work out. So we did
No.
it.
We did do it. High five. Self five.
Yeah,
Pats on back. That's
that's
great. I
right.
love that. Yeah. So
Exactly.
how's it
Yeah,
going?
so good. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
since one of the last episodes, we had said we were going to be putting a poll out on the Instagram page for
Oh
like what you
yeah.
guys want to see. We got lots of good feedback. We had
I
asked for
didn't look at any
bloopers.
other results. So
Okay, I
that's good.
did.
Good.
I
Good.
did. Yeah.
I could, I suppose.
They gone now, but
Oh,
that's
I guess so.
okay.
I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Sorry, go on. Tell me
But
what
yes, so
what we get. What we get. What
yeah,
do people
so
want from us?
one person had asked, she's like, do the bloopers, which is funny because like our whole podcast is a blooper
A
reel.
giant blooper. We don't
But we
edit
don't
anything.
always we don't edit
I
anything. But there is a couple
literally
things
don't. Hmm.
there are a couple things that we like just don't add in because they're like before because we just shoot the shit before we start podcasting, but we record it anyway.
Hmm.
So maybe
Sometimes
we'll one of these days Jessica can go through all the stuff, see if there's funny stuff that we just haven't put in because it wasn't part of the actual episode typing.
exactly that we're like, that's so funny. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I'm like our whole episode is a blooper. Truly.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
people, yeah, you guys should know that
We
by
don't
now.
care.
That we're
Right.
like, ah, damn. She
Yeah. Well,
fucked
and
it
like
up.
and like one of the
Annoying.
questions was like, do you guys want to see more themed content or if you
Hmm.
just want us to like be silly and ridiculous and just go with it? And it was an even match.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, we'll just keep doing what we're doing then. And if like whatever comes up. And so we'll have like a
Exactly.
mix of everything.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't think we're going to run out
Yep.
of content anytime soon, but it is like
So
one of
much.
those things that like some
Yeah.
people sometimes are like waiting for like a certain topic to come up. Like, let
Right.
us know. Like, if we haven't like talked
That's
about it
it.
yet, it may not even be on our radar. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
I feel like was telling Brittany before we started our episode that like I came across like some things. I'm like, oh, we should do an episode on that, and like we had already planned to do it, but I was like, aha,
Mhm.
it works out, to do it later. So
Totally.
we'll talk a little bit about
But
it today,
yeah,
but not
if
a whole
there's
lot.
anything that
But
you're like, I want them to talk about this, then
let us
just shoot us a
know.
message to be like, hey, get on it. It's
Get
faster.
on it. Exactly.
Faster,
Yeah.
daddy, faster.
Fast. Too fast. Oh wait, too fast. That's what it's the
Yeah,
kid
too
on a
fast.
bus. Yeah, that's what I was like, wait,
Yeah,
which way is he going? That's I don't know.
that joke did not age well though,
I was
so
just gonna say that. I'm like, fast, daddy, fast.
it's not a great joke.
It's not a great joke. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not like anything bad. Okay, so let's tell the joke because people are gonna be like, what are we talking about? So there was a
Yeah,
little
well, I'm sure
boy.
most people. Yeah,
Is it even like, I
there's
don't
a.
even know if it's a joke or if it's just like a funny line because it's like a little boy is on the
It's
back
hard
of
to
his
say.
dad's
Yes, but like the
motorcycle.
theme of the joke is that they're both chubby, and like we
Oh, yeah,
before we
that's
begin
right.
the joke is we're all very body positive.
We're
Like
positive. Yeah,
we do not
exactly.
make fun of anybody's bodies at all.
No,
But for
no.
some reason, this joke was funny when we were
This
kids.
was, I was gonna say, I'm like, this joke is like so
Maybe
old
because it
because
had to like it you had to
the
like play with your
face,
face.
right? It's like
And
faster,
so
daddy,
it was just
faster.
like
Okay, son.
yeah, yeah, and like
Faster,
it
daddy,
was just so
faster.
silly. Yeah.
Too fast.
Yeah. So I think that's why it was funny is because like as a kid you have to play with your face and like you get to see like your facial expressions.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that you're like poking fun at anybody because you're just playing with your own face.
Yeah.
But
This is so
yeah,
funny. Okay, wait. Okay. I have to think about like how long ago this like I don't
I don't
know.
know.
It's so
Elementary
long.
school.
Like I'm sure
Yeah.
I was like 8. 8 rings a
Mm.
bell.
I don't
Seven,
think I would
eight,
have said that
nine.
joke in high school, so I think it was very much in
I'm
elementary
sure we
school.
set up and we're like, ha ha ha, and then we went on with our lives. I mean, it wasn't like a show. Anyways, here we
Yeah.
are again, 20 years later, 20 odd years later.
Yeah. Still saying the same old shit.
Still find it funny.
Yeah. It's funny because yeah, and that's the thing. It's funny because of you having to do your own face. Like, can you imagine doing that to Colin's face, being like,
I should. It'd be so funny.
Colin would just laugh because he'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Exactly. He's such a punk. And like, yeah, that'd be so
Yeah.
funny. Right now, because
Yeah.
he likes to do that to my face. So
The squishing the face.
squishing the
See, and that's
face.
the thing. It's not, yeah, and it's not actually like poking fun at anybody
No. It's
at
just
all.
face play. Yeah, we would
No.
never do that. Anywho, yes.
No,
So I don't know.
definitely not.
Don't even
And
know how we got there.
we like making fun of ourselves also. And so
Yeah.
like we're like I would say I am no perfect body type, and I love to poke fun at anything that's like
Mhm.
considered an insecurity of mine because I'm like, fuck it, who cares? I
Exactly.
don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all good.
But anyway, so
Um, yeah. Okay.
I
Why
don't know how we got on there.
I don't know. That's cool. Faster, Daddy, faster. Anyways.
That's right.
Um, yeah. Trying to
So
think. I don't
yes,
know.
so that's what we got from our feedback from the Instagram. So we're going to do our best to go forward with,
Nice. What we're doing.
bringing the fun stuff every week.
Fact, just keep doing what we're doing.
Doing our
Yeah.
best.
Yes. Our bestest every week. Yeah. No, I'm excited. Should be good. It's nice because I mean, like, obviously, I feel like we over critique ourselves because we're like, we want this to be
Mhm.
fun for everybody. We want people to really like us. And I think, like,
Yeah.
part of it is like, I'm sure that they
Well,
do
that and
already.
like well, we one would hope, but we also would just like to be consistent where
Mhm.
you come listening to our episodes knowing that you're going to get the best of us in that episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Well, today's episode, what are we going to talk about, Brittany?
We're going to talk about two fun things.
Two things that are like related. They were like related to each other, just like two different methods. We've been talking about this for a while too. So
yeah, we've been wanting to talk.
Yes.
We've been wanting to talk more deeply about this.
So we're going to be talking about pendulums and what they are and how to use them, and dowsing rods. Yes.
So dowsing rods is something we mentioned in our last episode. Last one or the year before? The last one before when you were talking about the fairy garden place that you've been
to. 2 episodes ago. Yeah.
2 episodes ago.
Yes, it was.
Because you're thinking of taking dowsing rods to that area.
Yes, to the circle of trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I mean, I could take a pendulum as well, both of which are still missing, but you know what? That's fine.
Yeah. So that's all right.
Exactly. But I'll definitely, yeah, I think yeah, I'm gonna bring something like that, I think, to help me out there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't gone back yet. I'm still just prepping for like what I need to bring. My life is turned upside down, you know. I don't know if we talked about in the last episode, so I'm like waiting to like leave Ireland for a hot
we
minute.
didn't talk about it in detail. We just said
no,
shit ain't great.
it ain't great, you know. So anyway, so me and my daughter, not because my daughter needs to leave, but because I need to leave, but like I could be gone for like, you know, it'll be a minute anyways. So yeah, so I've planned a trip over to England with family just to be, yeah, so that'll be good. Yeah. So but anywho, yeah, so I have to leave Ireland for a hot minute. Well, this is just so much fun. Yes, I have. Anyway, so that's my life. Is like cool.
Are the flights long to go to Ireland or from Ireland to England?
No,
is it like
it's like very short. It's like a hop. Basically, it's if I fly out from Kerry, it's like under 2 hours. It's like probably like an hour and a half. Do you know what I mean? It's like a flight Saskatoon to Calgary. Do you know what I mean? It's just like up and down.
Yeah, that's awesome then. That's one of the coolest things about Europe is your flights don't take very long to get anywhere.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, so that's my life these days. So you know, fun times.
Yes.
But
so expect some future episodes from the fun places she gets to go to in England.
Totally. And then yeah, so eventually, yeah, if I get back to this to the circle of trees like this week would be nice, but we'll see. It's on my list of to-dos. And actually a girlfriend of mine, my other Canadian friend, and I know she listens, so hi Jackie. She messaged me today about the circle of trees. She's like, oh my God, can I come visit? I'm like, yes, you can.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I love it. Yeah, of course. Naturally, I would find another Canadian and like fall in love with her. She's fantastic. She's like so much fun.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And so only in Ireland. Only in Ireland you're gonna find.
Literally. I know.
I love that.
Us Canadians like attract each other. It's so good.
Oh my gosh. I was in Brazil.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was in Brazil one time. I went to this one coffee shop and we were talking all together, and then all of a sudden someone's like, that accent is Canadian. And I was just like, oh my God. She's like, I'm from she was somewhere in Ontario. She's like, but that I don't hear that accent very often. You can tell when someone's American. She's like, but that's Canadian. I was like, you're right. And then
You
we had
are
a good little
right.
visit.
That's
so yeah, you
nice.
have like an instant bond when you can find someone who else is from home. You're like,
Exactly.
oh hi.
Oh my God. I know. Yeah. Yeah. She's headed back there for Easter, she said. In a couple weeks too. It was like, oh, that'll be so nice. I'm like, but anyways, yeah,
Nice.
she's wonderful and very special to me. So hi, Jackie. You're
Hi,
wonderful.
Jackie.
I can't wait
Thanks
for you to meet my
listening.
family one day.
Yes, we'll
Like
make it
seriously,
work.
I know. It's like I love it. She's fantastic. Anywho,
Hmm.
yes, that's enough of my
So
gushing.
that's the circle of trees. That's the
Circle of
update.
Trees
But she
will
has not gone
bring
back just yet.
not come back just yet because my life is flipped upside down like Fresh Prince, but we are gonna get back on track.
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
That's right.
Anyways,
We'll
so
get
yeah,
there.
do you want to start? Do you want me to start? What do you want to do?
Sure, I can go first
Cool. Yeah.
because Jessica always has more in-depth research than I do.
You're so funny.
Because YOLO. Because dowsing rods, there is information, but there's not. That's the crazy
Okay.
thing. It's
Oh,
just
totally.
like
Yeah.
because it's such a simple thing.
But I think
And it's like
yeah.
so the reason for dowsing rods, and if you ever have seen them, they are typically metal rods. So they
Right angle. It's like a 90-degree angle, right? 90?
I would say so.
It's 90. It's 90. I was like, a straight line is 180? No. 0?
I don't know.
Degrees? Yeah. It's like this.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a math person, but like I'm not a geometry person. Is that geometry? Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
A right angle. A right angle is 90
there
degrees.
You go.
I do know that. Right.
Sure.
It's a right angle. It's like
at a right angle.
Yeah.
Yes. So typically they are supposed to be like a metal rod. However, dowsing rods have been around for so many years that people could actually just use 2 sticks as well, 2 wooden sticks. So typically now when you find them, they're always metal. The reason for dowsing rods that they first came about was to help locate groundwater, gemstones, oils, buried metals, and just typically like the earth vibrations. So just how can you stay connected? The Catholic Church banned this practice, shocker, because it was assumed to be a part of the occult and considered satanic, which is not surprising.
Yeah,
that they would say such things. But they are definitely used all the time. So the easiest way that you can do this at home, because I found like a make your own rods at home. We in one of the last episodes we had mentioned you can get them from Amazon. You can make them yourself from like Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But this one I found is super easy because everyone typically has this still at their house, and if not, that's amazing. But if you have a wire coat hanger at home, you can make one. So you unfasten the coat hanger and open it up so you have an open triangle with one of the uprights having the hook and the other one having the twist end. Now you measure along the long bottom bar and you find that center point. You cut this measurement with either a hacksaw or a bolt crop. Not really sure what a bolt crop is, but be sure to sand.
Yeah, just like a cutter.
Yeah, just like cutter. Yeah, a cutter.
A cutter. Yeah, just like a cutter.
Well, I could just grab a cutter. Anyways, so be sure to sand the edges after with wet and dry. What?
After
with wet and dry. Wet the wets, dry the dries.
Dry the dries, then wet the dries. Dry your wets.
Yeah. That'll never get old, ever. That's like the best.
Okay, wait. Pause because we have to chat about it. We can't exactly.
Yeah, we have to go. We have to go.
This like meme is so old. Was it from like Vine maybe? And it was like to make macaroni, and it was like first you wet your dries, so you you wet your dries, and then you dry your wets.
Yep. And then you wet your
dries. And then
you wet your wets.
And then you wet your wets. That's right. It's like what? Or you powder your dries or you dry your dries? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
No, because the milk has to hit the powder.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you have to use that
wet your dries
to go,
and then you wet your wets. Wet your dries. Anyways,
God, outrageous. But anyway, so yeah, you got to stand them so you don't hurt yourself. Basically,
don't hurt yourself.
What's saying. Just remove any of the nicks that could be like really pointy and like sharp.
Yeah.
So now at this point, you've got two pieces that are the same shape apart from the hook end, and you measure about 5 inches from the curve of the coat hanger and cut the ends of the two pieces, removing the hook and the twist end. So now you can take two old biro casings. So this is, what the hell is this? Cool.
I don't know.
All of a sudden it's like with the ink cartridge removed. I don't understand what that is. Okay, so we're not going to do that. And stick your 5-inch wire inside the casing. Oh, I understand. So it's basically just like, it's like a small, like what you would assume to be like a wire tube. So that way the dowsing rods can go inside, so they can just go freely. So you're just holding onto the actual tube and not the rod itself.
Fair. Oh, yes.
So then it can swivel however it needs to.
Okay.
So yes. So that way, yeah, the dowsing rods should swivel freely and be able to move independently of your hands, which are holding the plastic tubes. So that was one of the reasons why the Catholic Church banned it, is because they had assumed that that the dowsing rods were actually just using the body's involuntary movements, and people were just like doing their own thing and creating what they wanted for either spirit to say, or if spirit was there, or whatever the case is. So now that you have created your own dowsing rods at home using hangers, you get your rods to be at a comfortable level, about chest height, as you're holding them, about a foot apart at arm's length. You'll find that your rods will act differently to other people as well as yourself.
Yes.
Your rods may move apart when they find what they're concentrating on, or they move together. They cross over each other.
Yes.
In the beginning, you'll have to concentrate on what you're trying to program the rods to do. But there are a couple different exercises just to kind of see the results you get. So one of them can be like finding a bowl of clear water. 2 can be a person. 3, a person holding a crystal. Just be mindful of what crystal you decide to use, because that'll change the result of that. For them to find, the rods to find a mobile telephone, but that the telephone has to actually be shut off. So it's not just like finding,
so like not like the energy. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's neat.
And then there's 2 other ones. Oh yeah, finding a house plant or a tree. I'm sorry, this was the last one. So if there's different types of trees, note the differences in the different seasons about like how it reacts to different trees, different plants around the house, or inside or outside the house.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, it's neat.
So my question for you is, because I also like encountered this in my research with pendulum use, is like looking for lost objects. And now, because some people like obviously with the pendulum, it's a little different than the dowsing rods. So, I mean, you could probably ask your dowsing rods to like show you the direction, I would assume.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Cool. Because I'm like, how? Right? Is it like,
it literally
yes
says
or no?
that. Yeah. That's literally was my end note. Dowsing in general terms is the art of finding hidden things.
Neat.
Usually this is accomplished with the aid of a dowsing stick, rods, or a pendulum.
Boom. Okay, cool. That's so funny. Yeah. Because I was like, anyways, we'll get into my, fuck, we'll do it right now. Should we do it right now?
Yeah.
Nah. Yes. Well, I know, but I've got,
what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? We don't have dowsing rods.
I know we don't, but that's okay. It's still important to chat about. But no, that's cool, because with the pendulum, in my research, I came across this article where this man's neighbors, they lost their rabbit, and they like looked high and low. They looked, and the neighbors, they looked everywhere. And the writer was like, well, why don't you try with a pendulum? And to my understanding, what they did is they kind of they drew like a map of the neighborhood, or like, they took a map. And they were, using the pendulum, which I'll get into how to use it. And they were pointing at different areas of the map. And when they got to the areas, when it started to react. So, and then they went and they're like, oh, that's way too far. They won't be out there, but that's where the rabbit was. So,
it's because that actually has a name, scrying.
Yeah. Well, no, because scrying, isn't that more like crystal ball reading and that?
I had heard, so this is what I have heard / watched in my many years of watching Charmed.
Yeah.
Is when they would scry for someone, they would have a map or a globe or whatever the case is, and they would have their pendulum over top, and the pendulum would react when they found
Yeah.
what they needed to
Okay.
find. So that's why I
Yeah.
was like, is that the term? It may
Yeah.
not
Because
be though,
scrying.
obviously.
No. I know it can be used with a crystal ball. Let's see here. I'm just looking here. Um, Scrying is about revealing the unseen through use of our inborn second sight. Second sight is our capacity to see things that can't usually be seen or perceived through our live senses. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say no by any means, but I know that there's a few different ways that you can do it. Anywho, yeah,
Cool.
crystal eye. Okay, cool. Well, that could be another episode. Let's get there.
Yeah. Freaking
Um,
write it down. I'm gonna write it down right now.
Write it down. Okay,
Writing it
cool.
down.
Well, yeah. So anyway, so back to the pendulum and what it is.
Yes.
So the pendulum is a string. It's like a string and it's like a weighted string or weighted chain. So you can buy pendulums from any of your like new age stores that are like basically anywhere. You can also get them online, right? We always say get from a reputable source if you can. Either way, when you get it home, actually, let's talk about what you want to look for on one, I suppose. So, yeah, so it's a weighted chain. I don't have a pendulum because I am ill prepared and have not been to my new age store here because I lost my other one, but I did look for it. And so I'm going to be using my necklace and my pendant, which will be fine, right? So basically,
Yeah.
you want at least 5 to 6 inches of chain, and
Mhm.
then like a weight. So it's about 2 ounces or whatever. And it could be, even like a ring on the end of a necklace. It could be, I know like there's a
Yeah, I've
few
heard
different
that
ways to do
often.
it,
A
but
ring putting, yeah.
yeah, so any sort of like weight at the bottom of a chain or a string. So as long as it can hold it. So yeah, so again, like pendulums were used very much like dowsing rods, originally
Yeah.
used to locate, hidden water, minerals, hidden objects within, nature. Yeah, so how it works is it helps us connect to our unconscious mind, also known as the Akashic was
Akashic. Akashic.
Akashic records.
Yeah.
So just a little brief thing on because we're going to do an episode on Akashic records. But
Yes, we
essentially,
are.
it's like your soul's journey is like the
Mhm.
easy way to put it. So imagine you're walking into a library with a bunch of different books. Each book is one of your soul's previous lifetimes.
I love it.
So
That's
yeah,
so
so that
cool.
is basically from when your first moment as a soul to your very last, right? So it's all of those lifetimes. So that's like your big library filled with them. So it's connecting us back to our records there. I always say
Oh,
that like your unconscious mind, using a pendulum, I always say it is an extension of yourself, right? It's just
yeah.
in a physical form. And I'll talk
Mhm.
about it a little bit later on like how I use myself as a pendulum because that may not make sense like when I say it now, but in terms of
Mm.
what the pendulum does, you could absolutely do this. You do not need to
Yeah.
be experienced to try this at home with anything. Like any person, anyone interested
Yeah.
in pendulum work can do all of this that we're talking about today. So
Yeah. You just have to connect within.
exactly. So yeah, so now we know what a pendulum is. When it comes to picking a pendulum, they always say kind of what's your power stone? What's a stone that works well with you or what attracts you first? So when you go into like metaphysical stores, you will be able to try them. I know Brittany has you've gone and you've like held them and say, is this mine? And it'll either swing for yes or it won't, or
That's right.
whichever. Last time I
Yeah.
picked one out, actually the one here, it was like they didn't have much, and I was like, oh, this one's fine, and I just took it. But do you know what I mean? Like the one that I
You
used to
weren't
death,
as connected.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is why it's probably missing, right? Because it's like, girl, we want
She's like,
rares.
we want a break.
Exactly. I don't know, but like
We're on
my
a break.
exactly. No, but my first one, like that I still have, it's like remnants of like I felt like when I picked it up, it was like a total vibration. It's like, oh, it was vibrating there hanging and that got called to it. Do you know what I mean? Or that's what it felt like. So anyway,
Absolutely.
so take a moment and hold each of the pendulums and just see how it interacts with you. Right. So if it
Totally.
feels right in your hands, it's right, right?
Yeah.
It's right, right? But yeah, you can
It's
also do it
right.
online as well. Either
Yeah.
way, once you go and buy yours online or you buy it in store, we do want to make sure that we cleanse it because it is like a stone. It's a metaphysical item that
Yes.
we're bringing in. It does carry
Yeah.
energy. So you can cleanse it how you would your crystals or whichever.
Mhm.
So you can do like a bath with it, cold or hot water, depending on the, I wouldn't go to water first, mostly because depending on the stones you have, some don't
Yeah.
recommend water use, right? So that one, it's an option, but it's not what I would go with. I would go with something else.
Even just cleansing it with sage or Palo
Yeah,
Santo.
exactly. Keep it straightforward. You can use sage, Palo Santo, you can use incense, you can do like put it in the moonlight,
Yeah.
you can bury it in soil
Yeah.
for a day. Yeah,
Even
you
just
can
telling it clear, I'm clearing you of everything else beforehand.
exactly intention, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then once it's clear, it's good to use. So
Awesome.
everybody has a kind of a different like way to start. What I would recommend is now that we've cleansed it, like ask your guides for guidance. Just let them know that you're opening this kind of thing. So you can say a prayer, or you can just like talk to your guides.
Yeah.
Next, we would recommend getting to know your pendulum, and that would be like the first steps is ask it yes, like, you know, what your sign is for yes.
Yeah.
But how do you hold it? I was gonna say I just kind of jumped in there. So you're gonna put your right elbow on like a table, or you know, even just up in the air. I would say put it on a table if you can, or rest it on your body, just so that it's not tired, because it is holding it up, right?
Well, and then you take the involuntary movements like as a
like your body
what's
shaking.
yeah, and like you know how like obviously
Yeah,
everybody has a skeptic side.
yeah,
Sometimes then it helps actually
yeah,
you yourself trust it more because you're like, it's not just my body
yeah.
wanting to do something. I've taken everything out of the equation here, and it's just the pendulum swinging.
Exactly. So I've just adjusted my camera here for those who are watching. I've got like my little stand here. I'm just using my necklace and my pendant. So
Yeah.
let's see here. So yeah, so I've got my elbow. I'm right-handed, so that's why I'm using this. If you're left-handed, you would have to use your other hand, right? Or you would use your dominant
Right.
hand. So I've
Yeah.
anchored my right elbow, because again, I'm right-handed, and I'm just like holding it between my pointer finger and my thumb finger, my thumb, the
My
top here.
thumb finger.
So first thing, I'm going to hold it and I'm going to say clear, like Brittany had said. So I'm just going to, you can say it out loud, or you can just hold it to kind of like reset it. And you're going to be doing that after every like motion of it. So with this one, I'm just going to like take a deep breath, because that's what I typically do. It gives me a chance to connect to it. So now that I've kind of connected to it, I'm going to say, can you show me yes? Show me yes. So for those watching on YouTube, my circular motion is yes. So now I know my yes. So now I'm going to set it up to clear. So I'm just going to hold it. Next, I'm going to say, show me no. And my no is back and forth. So it's like from left to right, back and forth. And then the reason we ask for don't know could also stand for like, it doesn't want to say, or we're not supposed to know. So that's like, you know, it's yes, no, and maybe basically. So I'm going to ask that. Yeah, and it's basically just standing straight still. So now that I know my answers, as you would, I'm going to keep it down here so that people can see on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now that I know what my yes, no, maybe so, looks like in forms of pendulum answers, I'm going to ask
Yes.
questions that I know the answers to, that it would, you know, that I can confirm. So first off,
Cool.
I'm going to reset it. And this is just to like test. This is again, all part of that getting to know you process with your pendulum.
Yes.
So now that I've cleared it, I'm going to ask, is my name Jessica? Yes. Okay. Do I have children? Yes.
It's funny too, because the pendulum always knows what you're going to ask before. So as you're watching on YouTube, you can see it starting to do its
Stuff.
thing before
Exactly.
Jessica has the question outside, because it's connected with you.
Exactly. Do I have two boys? No. And you could already see, yeah. So it's like, no, you don't have two boys. And you can continue to do this. All of this is going to be, it's like that getting to know you. Exactly. So it's like your pendulum's getting to know you, and vice versa, and how it reacts. So, so now that we've asked some questions that we know the answer to, let's go forward and let's keep an open mind. So that's the biggest thing here, is because we can influence this. If there's any questions that you're impartial to or know the answers to, our bodies send signals to our fingertips, and you don't see my hand moving at all, but that can be, you know, influenced with us, or like with those movements, right? I have a, hold on. maybe I don't have it anymore. Da, 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 da. Our unconscious mind responds to these questions by influencing the nerve endings in our fingertips, causing the pendulum to swing in a response. In other words, your body outwardly expresses your inner knowing. So again, it's an extension of self. A lot of the time, it's questions that you already know the answers to, or at least your inner soul does. It's just like whether you need to hear them or not. So it is. Why don't we do some test questions, Brittany?
Sweet.
Since I've got this here.
What could be a good test?
I know. I'm trying to think of what's a good one that's like
that we know the answers to, or that we don't know the answers
that we don't know the answers to, and then we can will we still be recording this podcast by the end of the year? Yes.
I was like, I fucking hope so.
I hope so too. That's a big yes. See, look at how big it is. It's a big yes. Whoop,
good.
Whoop.
Will Jessica get pregnant again this year?
Fuck that. Why would you even ask that? God. Okay, well, Jessica, will Jessica get pregnant this year? Like, don't even fucking move. I'm like, but that's the thing, is because I'm like, no. It's like we're scared to answer. It's like, yeah, best.
Yeah, we're afraid. We're afraid.
No, okay. Exactly. So Brittany, if Brittany chose to answer that, like I've allowed Brittany into my like space. Oh god, I hate like this little angle. Sucks off. Hello again. But right, like if in terms of doing a reading for myself, like my gate to myself is open, right? So if Brittany allowed me to read her, or vice versa, if I had said, Brittany, can you do this for me? I've allowed her permission to enter that energy field of mine to kind of like, get that response. So,
because that's the fun fact as, excuse me, before I found out I was pregnant, and even the first little while, once my family did know, I made it so that way I could not be read by anybody without my permission. And Jessica didn't know that. And she's like, me and mom have been trying to do our pendulum on you for a while. See, when you were pregnant, I was like, I figured. And I was like, that's why you weren't allowed, so you wouldn't get any answers.
But like, I know we said this in a previous episode, but like, remember, I was like, oh my God, you're pregnant. I'm like, go take a test. She's like, no, I'm like, whatever. I've got like, you were like just about to, I don't know if you were just about to take your test, but don't you remember sitting at mom and dad's table? And I'm like,
but that was still a month before.
I know, but it was probably because it was like, you're getting pregnant.
Or like, you're
gonna be pregnant. Exactly.
Yeah. And then once I did get pregnant, and everyone's like, well, we're gonna find out what the gender is. I was like, no, you are not. And so then I put that big wall up and was like, not allowed, sorry.
Exactly.
And then they couldn't until Jessica asked Ian.
Exactly. Until Uncle Ian. Not Uncle Ian. Yeah.
I always get them, just because they're brothers, I always get them.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. They get
just
that
like people do for Jessica and I.
Exactly. No, totally understand. So it's all good. So so this can be used by absolutely anybody. Yes. Like truly anybody with any interest in this. It's keeping that open mind, right? And I think if we go in with an open mind, then I mean, it's just like going in with like, not high expectations, but okay to hear whatever the result might be. Gives us
you just got to be open to what you're going to hear, and not every time.
Yeah,
that's the thing. If you want to ask the question, you got to be ready to hear the answer, because it's not always going to be something you want.
No, it's going to be what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, which is great. That's exactly what you need, right? So just like any other spiritual tool. Oh, sorry, Brittany, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, that's exactly how people should go into getting readings done, or like mediumship. Is like, there are some people out there that want to talk to a very specific person, and that specific person may not come through for them for whatever that reason is. And then they feel disappointed because they only want to talk to that person, but that person is not going to talk to them for whatever reason that is.
Exactly.
So you have to be open to whatever happens. And if you want to go in with an agenda, you're not going to get much.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to be open. Yeah. So remain open. So just like any other tool or spiritual tool, they can be misused. And overused, right? So some words of advice when you're using this, or even the dowsing rods, this will go with that as well. So don't use it when you're feeling like emotionally or mentally like imbalanced. So if like you're stressed or angry or tired, it could potentially like change the outcome, right? So be in the right frame of mind. If that means like you're just doing a meditation, and then like you're coming out of your meditation and you're doing something like that, you can do some journaling, anything that you can kind of get into a nice frame of mind.
Yeah.
But you could also ask your pendulum if it's now is a good time. Do you know
That's
what I mean?
exactly it. Yep.
It's like you can do that.
Exactly.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's not a good time. Don't force it, right?
No.
Like again, like they're gonna you can still use it. It's just not gonna give you the results that are the best or the most
Yeah.
accurate, right? So yeah. So it should go without saying, don't use this as a replacement for like medical advice. I mean, you can ask
It
it
should
about
go
like certain
without
things,
saying,
right?
but we
But
have to say it because
exactly.
people will. And like you will, everyone goes through a stage where they overdo it, where they use it every day, that they use it for
Yeah.
almost every decision. You're like, hey, well, you're no longer living your life. And
Exactly.
at the end of the day, you also have free will. So no matter what your pendulum says, it still might change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it is like it can not become like addictive, but it's like when people don't live on their own and they
Yeah.
only listen or like or they're scared to check in with themselves in order to move forward. Like, and I've
Yeah.
been there. I
Oh
totally
yeah.
understand. We're like, I don't know what I should do. I don't know what I should do. Should I ask my pendulum? You know what I mean? It was like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
at that point, my pendulum like hid from me for like 2 weeks. I was like,
That's
okay,
it.
I've overused it. I mean, it's okay, and that's what they do, right? It just kind of
Yeah.
crawls away on you. Oh, damn. Yeah. So
Well, that's it. And that's why people also, choose to read cards and they're like, hey, well, I want answers. And you're only going to get the answers that you could, like, you're not always going to get the message you want to hear.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're just going to get the message that's supposed to be there.
Exactly. What else is gonna say here? Um, oh yeah, so make sure that if you're reading for another person, you get that permission.
Yes.
Because that's not allowed. That's
That's
not
not
good.
cool.
That's not
You
cool
just won't
to
get it. You won't get an actual reading.
exactly, yeah. So
You'll get what
yeah,
you think, but then it's just like you're playing
but
yourself.
that's exactly it. It's like you get your own hopes up. So yeah, so considering the nature of the pendulum, it is better to you're restricted on what your questions might be. If it is a
Mhm.
yes, no, or maybe, or
Yeah.
like looking for certain things, right?
Yeah.
But so that would be a time to recognize that maybe a different channel might be best. So that could be like seeing a medium or
Yeah.
pulling tarot cards or scrying or
Yeah.
whichever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so just keep in mind that it's not the only method
Yeah. The
out
be
there.
all end all.
Exactly. It might be the beginning one, but it's not going to give you the in-depth if you're looking for more, right? So if you're gonna like if you're asking standard questions, you're going to get a standard answer as well, right?
Yes. Oh,
Or
always.
general, right? So
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Be
yeah,
specific.
exactly. Yeah. And like we kind of said, don't use it as a crutch, just
No.
ask it for advice. Um, don't excuse, your own responsibility as a human and don't blame it if it goes wrong, right? Because we can't hold it accountable. We
And
are
it's free. It only is going to channel that message for that very second, and you could literally change it the next second.
exactly. So yeah, so that is a pendulum. Really cool
Yeah,
stuff. I hope that
absolutely.
somebody, if they've been interested, if you want to buy one, fucking buy one. They're great. And they're like
Yeah.
pretty, they're not like expensive by any means, but you can get some really
It
nice
all
ones for like
depends.
$12
Yeah, it all depends on
ish.
where you want to get them
Yeah.
from and like what's calling to you, and
Mhm.
use what Jessica said of just like if
Yeah.
one of them is catching your eye, there's
Yeah.
typically a reason why. Or if you really love a certain crystal and you find a pendulum with that crystal, maybe that's the one you should go with.
Perfect. Or like I said,
Yeah.
you can even get like a crystal cage and
Oh
put that on a
yes.
chain. Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
you can get all the things in there. But yeah, like they said, like
Absolutely
I was
can.
just using a necklace, one of my old necklaces that like just
Yeah.
has a in any sort of chain. This one is super long chain, probably too long for this. But I just
Fair.
I just shortened it and held it with my
Yeah.
pointer and my thumb and I went to
Love it.
work. So it's good in a
Love
pinch.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, last thing is I
Hmm.
mentioned using yourself as a pendulum.
Yes.
So this is an exercise that actually you can do with me, Brittany.
Okay.
And I believe I don't know if Bev taught me this. No, I sorry, I'm just like maybe she did. I think maybe she hinted to it. I can't remember. This is so long now. But
Yeah.
what I had practiced doing, because again, I was like in my full pendulum state. Oh yeah, I was in my spiritual gifts course
Oh,
and
nice.
we were chatting about,
With Miss Bev.
different different things that we use. And I had said, I'm at this point with my pendulum that I don't feel like I need it anymore. But
Yeah.
because again, I was pulling those kind of questions through myself. So
Right.
um this is really, really cool actually. But again, you kind of have to be in like the right mind space. So I definitely would recommend like even some moments of quiet to kind of just listen to your body before you start.
Even
And
like a grounding exercise to feel
exactly,
that much more connected.
exactly. And those same steps like apply to this, right? So I mean, cleanse yourself. So whether that's like have a shower, spray, you know,
Yeah.
sage yourself, find your
Yeah.
calm, right? The next would be to, you know, get familiar with that side of yourself. So that unconsciousness could be like to ask, you know, some basic
You mean
questions.
subconscious?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not unconscious, subconscious. So like so you can ask yourself,
Connect with your unconscious.
is my name Jessica? Okay, well, I feel like, what did I feel? Like, was there, I usually get like a sensation kind of like at the back of my neck, like not on my neck, but like in my head, in my brain, or like, you know what I mean, in my skull. Um, and then if I was, is my name Veronica? I actually get like a sensation in my forehead. Okay, so like my yes and my no is
There you
kind
go.
of my body's way of interpreting that. That is just how I felt it. But again, you can, anybody can do this. Don't be discouraged and don't overthink it, right? Take the first instinct, right? Go with your gut.
That's I think what a lot of people struggle on, and that's one of the biggest things that Bev does teach is like, you know, telling your ego, take a seat. It's your bench time now.
Exactly.
Because if your ego gets in the way because you assume that's how your body's supposed to respond, then you're thinking about it too much.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is something like, again, like, so if you have no access to any of that other stuff, but you want to try it, like that's a great way to kind of get to know that side. And like, I don't personally like do too much of practice with myself as a pendulum anymore. Not anymore, I shouldn't say that, but as regularly. But again, I go through seasons where I love using my pendulum. I love using my tarot cards. I love testing my abilities in that sense, right? And I think it's like so great just to be aware of it as well. So I dare you guys to try it.
Why. Yeah,
Totally,
there's a reason why you get, you know, called to do certain things.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely, like I said, like definitely give it a shot. Brittany, you should try it. Do it. I dare you.
I already know how to.
Okay. I know, but you should do it. Tell me. Tell me.
Okay, so how my body, it's actually that's done this for quite a while. And I always say it's like an ongoing phrase too, but my body will respond in like a full body fuck yes, or it'll be a pit in my stomach where I'm like, no, that is not supposed to happen. So I will feel like tingly going like up my arms and my hands, into my shoulders, where I'm like, whoo, that feels so good. That's definitely a yes. Whereas if I feel like uneasy, I'm like, well, that's not a good thing. I don't like that. And then that's my body's way of saying no. So yeah, it's like a full body fuck yes or a full body fuck no.
Well, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. I guess, and that really goes hand in hand with like intuition, or like that gut feeling of like, what does it mean? Yeah. So just listening to that response, because I know that every body does it. It's just we're either paying attention or we're not, right? That's
exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's time to pull a card.
Yes. I'm gonna do my animal deck.
Shocker.
I love my animal deck. I have other decks, but like I love my animal deck. You know, it's funny because with my other decks, I always feel like 8,000 cards come out, and I have to pull it like in advance, because then I gotta like, you know, I've got to digest it. Totally. And I'm like, okay, before I just like, because otherwise we'll be sitting on here and like on air, and I'll be like, hold on, I just need to like take a minute. You know what I mean? So
that's totally fair.
Okay.
No, that's totally fair.
Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna ask for like my guides.
What does everybody need to hear this week?
What do they need to hear?
So I'm pulling from my Angel Answers deck.
Yes. Yes, Angel Answers.
Yes. So my message will be short and sweet, like always, just because when it's the Angel Answers deck, it's pretty straight to the point.
Yeah, totally. That's great.
Which I love. But yeah, I always look at all my decks and I'm like, what needs to be heard today? Oh, that's good.
Whereas I just like love I love that it's like,
it's good.
Yeah,
I just love variety. That's why. And I tell myself, if you don't use the decks, you can't buy any new ones. So
exactly. Oh, and actually I saw Out of the Ordinary is having a sale on all the things, but I think on the 18th or something.
Wicked sale. All month there's something different every
Yeah,
week.
exactly. So check it out, team.
I know. I'm
Out of the
waiting
Ordinary
for
is
their
online and in
books.
store. I know.
I
Actually,
know.
wasn't there books on last week?
No, it's coming.
Oh, it is coming.
It's like
Okay.
I don't know when this episode will come out
Oh,
for when this will be,
yeah.
but
Check out March 2023. Out of the Ordinary in Saskatoon deals online and in store.
yes.
Pamela, we love you, Pamela.
We do. We love Pam.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Do you want to go first?
So sure. So the card that I got that the collective needs to hear is get more information.
Okay.
Sorry, I always get this.
Okay.
So the situation you're asking about requires in order for you to make a wise decision. Approach those knowledgeable about the topic to solicit their advice. If there are family or friends in your midst that have insight into the matter, ask for their observations. You may need to do some analytical research in order to get the data you need. This could be reading books, taking classes or seminars, or gathering information from the internet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I got a zebra.
Yeah,
I really love it.
Zebra.
So a zebra.
I like that too. I like
Eccentric, creative, a visionary. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They are young at heart, well-cultured, and have undying curiosity about life. Being in the company of a zebra personality, yes, not only is a delight, but also opens our minds. Be prepared. Their potent magic is contagious, and you may soon find yourself in a faraway land, exploring your worldview while having a blast. Zebras like to contribute to the global health through environmental or volunteer work. This card may be a hint to pack your bags. When in balance, we're worldly, enthusiastic, fashion-forward. When we're out of balance, we may feel jaded, pouty, or vain. To bring into balance an epic adventure or art. Which is funny because I am traveling soon. So.
Yes, because you're going to be on an epic adventure with Maria.
With Maria. Yes. Marjorie. My little Baba.
Little baby.
She's so cute. Not all the time.
I'm curious to see how she'll do without Colin in a different space.
I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea, especially because it's like, I hope it's not a long trip, but it might be, it might have to be like.
How long do you figure it'll be?
I mean, their process for appeals is like, I mean, it's quick. It could be a week, but in order for everything else, like, I mean, I'm expecting at least, we're planning for like 2 weeks, honestly, just because it's like our lawyer is also away. So like, it's like, okay, so in case there's anything there, and I mean, she's not answering emails or whatever, it's like, okay, let's not rush it. Let's just make sure it gets done and then go from there. So
that's totally fair.
Yeah. And then
totes fair.
So
cool.
So yeah, it'll be interesting.
We will have an update of some kind, and maybe the next episode will be in England.
It may be in England, it may be in Scotland, it could be in wherever.
It'll be live on location wherever Jessica is.
Exactly. I'm like, I'll just bring my mic. I don't think I need my mic, but I'll be there. We'll be there. I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
How's that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it'll be great.
Okay.
All right, guys.
I love you guys. You can find us. Go ahead.
It's all good. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Basic Banter for Witches, and email us at basicbanterforwitches@gmail.com.
You betcha. That's that.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, thanks, guys. Yes. We love you, and we'll chat with you soon.
Back this week. You betcha. Amazing. We love you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.